Hi guys, welcome to the weekly SUI session. Before getting into the details, these are the key areas I'll focus on if you're new to my sessions, and they're based on two key concepts. And these sessions are for education, research purpose, and also discussion with the community here and not financial advice. So please take note of that. Let's get started then. So we're looking at the SUI daily chart. Basically, this somehow looks different from what we have just seen in the Hedera session. This now isn't like a downward flag. So earlier, like 2 weeks ago, it's like a downward flag or like a downward playground zone if you want to want me to stick to the playground zone concept. Basically, they are more or less complementary things. So if you are familiar with candlestick patterns, the downward flag basically, well, the textbook says is a bullish sign. However, I would say that's not entirely precise. So when we just use the bullish word, some people would think, oh, it's going to bounce all the way up very high. That's not always the case. Yes, it's bullish in the sense like with this small bounce. That can be bullish as well, right? But this is like a tiny bull, very. So that's how it happened 2 weeks ago. The downward flag. So it broke out about on Feb 11th, roughly 11 days ago, and then now it's doing this kind of sideways action. So going back to this, if we extend further, this is like kind of flat, but then the bottom seems to be higher. Actually 3, 4, 4, 5 days back, right? Let me take away this so it's not interrupting, and let me change this to another color so it's easier to see. Yep, so that's how it looks like. So if I compress and add another line over here, this one looks like a pennant, right? So when we have a pennant, it's basically saying the price can either go up or down. So there's no definitive direction where it would go. It all depends on whether there are any new information that comes in that's like positive or negative in order to drive next price action. In terms of volume, it kind of stay more or less flat, I would say. There's no particular up or down trend that we can observe. So here we saw some higher bars than the bar this week. So it sounds like, or it looks like that the price at this point is near where the market thinks it's like a reasonable price, a fair price. That's why it's hovering around the bottom line of the short-term playground zone. So that's why I said last week, if there are no particular good or bad news, it's going to hover around at the lower half of this box. So you see the middle line over here. So it doesn't has to be like exactly 50% of the box. So it's somewhere around that range, and then the price will just basically bounce within this range, depending on like people may want to move their money somewhere else, and then when somebody sell and the price gone down a little, there are people thinking, oh, okay, that's a price that I can make a profit, and then they went in, then that causes these short-term fluctuations. But in the long term, if we go to the Wyckoff in the weekly chart, so basically we have 2 weeks of upward price actions, and this week we see a lower volume bar compared to the last week. So the bounce may be slowing down. So if that happens, as I said in the earlier session for Hedera, when the price bounced back from the sign of weakness, there are two things that can happen, two possibilities. One is it went above this buying climax. That's when it already happened here, the up thrust. So it doesn't mean it can't do the same again, but this, like in the Wyckoff cycle, there is no two up thrust, but like the way I interpret this is whatever name we give these, right? Even like second test, there's no second test for SUI, unfortunately, because it's kind of young, I would say. So the up first is like a super duper second test. Even the up first after distribution, that's also test. So many tests. If it's weaker than the buying climax, we call it like a ST second test. So it can come back to a point somewhere near this first green line. However, if there's really crazy reason to push the market upwards, then obviously there's no reason to stop me from thinking it can retest the second green line on the top. So if things happen according to the textbook and there's no particular positive news for crypto as a whole, then obviously this may somewhat stay below the green line and then comes back down to test the blue support line. So that's how I see that would happen in the coming weeks. Let's see like what the industry comes up with, or like the macroeconomic or geopolitical environment is going to develop. So that's for SUI coin. Next, I'll